Pleasure in welcoming Mr. Terje Rød-Larsen, who is the President of the International Peace Institute and also UN Secretary General's Special Envoy for the implementation of Security Council Resolution 1559. Thank you very much, sir, for visiting the IDSA. If you permit, I can ask with a couple of questions about your assessment about the situation in the Middle East as it is evolving today.
The situation in the Middle East is now possibly more complex, more difficult, more challenging and more dangerous than it's been in a very, very long time. Because the multiple crises of the region are compounding each other. At the center of it is now the crisis in Syria, which is at one level a terrible humanitarian crisis, which is not only hitting the Syrian people, but it's also now spilling over to neighboring countries such as Lebanon, Jordan, Turkey and Iraq, where refugees are trickling into these countries every day and at an increasing rate. And I think we will see more of it at an even higher rate during the hard winter which has been expected in Syria. In Jordan, we now have over 20% of the population being Syrian refugees, and a similar number in Lebanon. This is putting enormous pressure and tension on the governments in these countries, and if it continues, might have political effects on the stability and the sustainability of the government institutions in these countries. This is the humanitarian level with political effects. At the same time, there's a geostrategic conflict going on in Syrian territory, because in many ways this is not only a civil war, it's a regional war on Syrian territory, where there is a split between Sunnis and Shias within the Muslim communities, and where you on one hand have Iran and its allies in Iraq, in Syria, Hezbollah, etc. This is the perception of the other side, which are key Gulf countries and key Sunni Arab countries, joined by Western countries. And in a way, this geopolitical struggle is now both militarily and politically crystallizing on Syrian territory. So this is the second element of the crisis in Syria. Then, of course, the situation in Libya is tumultuous and unpredictable, equally in Tunisia. Egypt is for the time being stable, but there are massive problems of a security nature and economic nature and of a political nature in that country for a long time to come. You can add to this the problematic situation in Yemen and in other countries of the region. All in all, I think what the international community, the region and the world community must brace itself for is that we will have chaos and anarchy and disorder in this region for a very long time to come. This emphasizes that everybody involved at the UN, in the Security Council, in the donor community, the key regional players, the Arab League, must shoulder their responsibilities in order to address the issues and work with the parties to persuade them to find sensible and peaceful solutions to the ongoing multiple crises of the region.
Recently, Saudi Arabia was elected to UN Security Council seat, but they have refused to take that seat. What are the implications of this, A, for the UN Security Council, and also what is the politics behind this?
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has given a very powerful statement to the effect that they are emphasizing the paralysis and ineffectiveness of the Council relating to several Middle Eastern issues, the Syria crisis, the Arab-Israeli conflict, and also the issues related to the perceived aspirations by some of Iran's nuclear ambitions. It's a powerful statement that the Security Council, on all of the above, has been ineffective and paralyzed. The effect of it currently is that either Saudi Arabia has to change its position and take the seat, or there has to be elected a new member in the seat which Saudi Arabia got through the vote in the General Assembly. Because the situation in the Council is that there is no quorum unless there are 15 seats. The 14 can meet without the 15th member, but none of its decisions can come into effect. However, this will not happen, if it indeed will happen, before the 1st of January next year, and I do believe that sensible people will find a sensible solution so that the Security Council can meet with or without Saudi Arabia in early January to continue its important work on the crisis at hand in the Middle East, and also, of course, with all other global issues related to international peace and security.
But there have been some positive developments also. For instance, these talks on the Iranian nuclear issue, they seem to be progressing well, and the Syrians have also been persuaded to hand over their chemical weapons. So would this have a positive impact on the developing situation?
There are positive developments on both these two issues, but of course it remains to be seen if the negotiators can deliver on the issue, and we all wish them well, and we all will support as well as we can on these issues, and I think everybody on the globe interested in international peace and security are following it eagerly. And on the chemical weapons, it's a very positive step that the Security Council could agree on this issue, and that the UN and the relevant agency for destroying chemical weapons are moving forward forcefully and at this point effectively. But again, it remains to be seen if this difficult mission indeed will be able to achieve the results which we all wish. But indeed, these are two positive developments. But we have to follow their work and the results carefully.
I'll just ask you last question. Asia's dependence on oil from the Middle East, this is increasing, and China, Japan, India, etc., they're importing more and more oil from the Middle East. Now, these developments in the Middle East, how do you see this situation on the energy front? Do you think that these countries would be in some difficulty insofar as the energy imports from the Middle East are concerned, and then you have the shale revolution as well, which is being talked about?
No, I think the oil and gas reserves in the Middle East are such volumes that I don't think this will be a problem. And of course, the United States will probably be energy independent within 5-6 years at the most. And the United States will then emerge as a net exporter of energy. So I do not see any crisis on the horizon related to energy in the foreseeable future. But of course, if the Middle East should be riddled by regional war, that might change the situation radically.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your insights with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being with you.